Well, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. It's Falza here. We're going to be continuing our Monday upload series of custom tactics in FIFA 22. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 5-3-2 and if it's still possible to use in FIFA 22, if it's good, all that good stuff. So before we dive into the video, if you do enjoy it, please do leave a like rating on the video. It just helps me out a great deal. And if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, help me get to 1,000 subs for the YouTube partner program. And also really quick, I just want to say thank you, one, for the support in the 5-2-1-2 custom tactics on our last Monday. The support there has been fantastic, and yesterday we uploaded a video on EA hiding future stars swaps tokens, and that's gone down really well. You guys have been engaging with us, so just thank you for that. Both of those will be linked down below if you haven't seen those videos yet. But let's jump into the 5-3-2. What I will note is I came around to doing this video because the 5-2-1-2 for me right now is the best formation in the game. It offers me that nice defensive solidity whilst not being like stupidly dropped back and a lack of attacking. The wing backs, the way you set them up, get in really good positions. Overall, it's just a really nice balanced formation for me, especially with being able to customize the depth to reduce those gaps between the defense and midfield and the attack. But with that being said, I then wanted to basically I continued to use that formation this week. Normally I would try to go through as many different tactics as possible, just test them, tweak them. But for me, the 5-2-1-2 was just still doing really good, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this, but I'm also going to flick into the 5-3-2 and test it. If you're not aware, last year on my end, I used the 5-2-1-2, and then the 5-3-2 meta came around, and it kind of just killed the 5-back formations after a few weeks. But 5-3-2 was big last year, so I wanted to see if it was still possible to play this year. For me last year it was way too defensive, and it was still a little bit defensive with how it sets up, but with being able to change depth and a bit more of like creativity options on the wing backs, we were able to get it to run fairly well. So the tactics I'm going to show you are what we ran. So you can see we ran a 35 width with 73 depth, press after possession loss, very similar to our 5-2-1-2 setup. I think I went a little bit higher on the depth just because we didn't have a cam. The build-up play is the same. It's fast build-up and forward runs. Forward runs here is because as much as I like direct passing, with having 3 centre mids and then obviously requiring the wing backs to get forward, you need them to make the forward runs. The width's 45, so the centre mids aren't too clumped together. Players box 4, corners 1, and free kicks. That's just 1 for corner glitches and 2 for stopping counter attacks. Corner glitches if you have to use them, that is. Lining up in game, yes, it's how we lined up. So basically what I like to do is start with 4 at the back and then move not just any fullback, because some fullbacks don't work as centre back. For me, the Delaney card doesn't work well as centre back. His high medium work rates just have him all over the place, but Darmian has medium high work rate, so medium attacking, high defensive. He's got really good defending stats, and obviously he's got nice pace as a fullback. He's an unreal outer centre back. Just if you have him, test him here. There is still the thing, as I'm saying, some fullbacks don't work. Delaney for me doesn't work. Robertson road to the knockout kind of works, but still has issues. Darmian's one of the few fullbacks that for me works really well at centre back. But I like to shift one of those in. If you have 3 centre backs, like someone asked a question in the 5-2-1-2, basically you can run 3 centre backs if they all have high pace and they're all like high meta. For me, I like that option. Verde is in my right wing back. I did actually use Paul Tannel here for most of the games. Verde with his medium low workers isn't a great wing back, but what I will say is the idea is start with 4 at the back, 1 fullback moves into centre back, and then you use a winger who's like high medium or high that has at least a decent defensive stat, like either defensive awareness or can tackle, and you usually let them be like an attacking outlet. They're not really there to defend, but they will track back. For the 5-2-1-2, basically I ran Bardella and OR as a centre mid, which as a cam. In this case, I've just dropped into a centre mid who I'm going to try and replicate a cam with them on get forward and stuff, and then the 2 strikers are as they are. Now, this system was good. I'm going to say this here before we go into the actual instructions. You've seen the tactics. Before we go to the instructions, this formation is good. You can still use the 5-3-2 in FIFA 22, but the 5-2-1-2 is better, and this isn't as a maybe if you're running like drop back tactics and you're using this system to like fully shut out a game, in that case then yeah, okay, maybe it has a purpose. But I'm talking about, do you want to use it as your main formation? For me, these custom tactics I show you guys are normally a formation that you can use for the entire game. So 5-3-2 is good and it still works, but it's not as good as the 5-2-1-2. So I'm going to show you the instructions now that we were running, and then I'll show you the 5-2-1-2 tactics that we've been testing out as well, just so you guys have a bit of insight to where the differences are. And the 5-2-1-2 I'm going to show is different from the upload last week. We just tweaked a few things. So instructions wise, the keeper, I actually forgot to put the keeper on comes for crosses on this formation and sweeper keeper. I would recommend doing that. I found Lafont is unreal in goal, but my testing is with comes for crosses and sweeper keeper, whenever you're on that higher depth and those sort of through balls are going through, voice break, those through balls are going through, the keeper can come out and win them, and it stops like those stupid positions where you like sometimes before, if you don't run this and like someone gets through, either you pull the keeper out and they chip you, or you just wait and they'll like just play a sweaty goal and score. This helps to negate this, I'd say like 70-80% of the time, which is quite nice. The centre backs, we don't change anything on for the 5-3-2. The wing backs are both on join the attack, overlap, and step up. Now, in the 5-2-1-2 last week, we only had one of these guys on step up, but I think with the lack of a cam and needing that extra support, having both of them on join the attack, overlap, step up just helps the team composition a little bit. Barella is on just cover centre, so no one will stay back here because we have 3 centre backs anyway. But Barella is high, so he's just cover centre. He will roam that space. That's all you need. You can use a like medium attacking, high defensive work rate player here, but I prefer like a box to box that can defend. Think of Barella, think of that Winter Wildcard Modric, players like that just work really well here. Owar is like he's our secondary centre mid. He's our less attacking centre mid too, so he's on get forward and stay on the edge of box or cross. Obviously we don't have a cam if we're just relying on David and Martinez to do all the work of strikers. Not necessarily going to work that well, so Awar's there to get up, help with build up play, but I want him to stay on into the box or cross, because if we'll see Genoa now, Genoa is get forward and get into the box or cross. If they were both get into the box or cross, you would just find then that Barella's left in no man's land with like, it can get swamped really, really easily. So that's the reason for that. Genoa is that guy who, this is where it tries to replicate being a cam, because he's always getting forward, he's always getting into the box or cross. We're playing 73 depth, so any attacking situation he's trying to get up in there, it just doesn't work as well, unfortunately. As well as the 5-2-1-2. The strikers, David is on target man and stay forward. Wanted to test the target man, basically back into the bonnet and ask for ball for feet. The reason for this is because you can use him balanced, and you would probably be fine on balanced, but because there's 2 strikers to 3 centre mids, and there is that disconnect regardless of what depth you play and what you do, having him on target man was kind of like, he's going to back into the opponent, ask for the ball for feet, and he just gives those extra couple of seconds for Genoa and Awar to get forward, the wing backs to get forward. That kind of thing. If you don't play to him all the time, because then it becomes predictable, but that was just an option in the play. And then Martinez's stay central and get in behind. That's the tactics for it. That's the instructions. Say, test them out. Let me know in the comments how you get on, if you like it. For me, it's not as powerful as last year. Obviously, what you can do is use this as a defensive tactic if you want to. Obviously, not my instructions and tactics, they're not defensive at all, but 5-3-2 maybe is a more defensive option for you to hold out games. I wanted to test it as a like running it for the entire game. It worked. I got wins. It just wasn't as strong as a 5-2-1-2. And just for context, the 5-2-1-2 has 3 less depth. I think everything else is bang on the same. Nothing really changes. You can see how the formation shifts though. We do have a cam, and it helps so much with build up play, because the 2 centre mids do a fine job as it is. It just really helps with the build-up play. Instructions wise, comes across as sweeper keeper. The big changes we made are on the fullbacks. I think it's on the fullbacks, but definitely the centre back. So shout out to Mackenzie in the Discord. That's linked down below, guys. Come join that. It has all the advice you need for SBC, squad building in general, like alerts for objectives, stuff like that. So he tested the outside centre backs on overlap, which if you want to read, it makes overlapping runs on the outside. And what I will say is that it wasn't like they were making overlapping runs far up the pitch. What I took from it was, and I don't feel like it's what the instruction is meant to be doing, but it helps. So normally in this system, obviously we're playing if I go across it, we're playing a narrow width with 35, and that's because if you run a 3 centre back system with like 60 width, it just creates 2 huge gaps for the strikers to run through on. So you want them to be somewhat narrow and clumped to stop through balls. But I noticed that whenever we would make this change and have them in overlap, they just like in transitional play, they wouldn't be as clumped together. They'd step out and up that tiny little bit, and it just helps with passing avenues and building out of the back. So I quite enjoyed it. I plan on testing this further. I'm in a tight situation now where I've got really used to playing 5 at the back, and playing 4 at the back just isn't as enjoyable. Trying some 3, like saying 3 at the back systems, like as opposed to 5 at the back, to see if I can replicate it. But I feel like some of the stuff you can do in 5 at the back is purely because you've got wing backs rather than left mid and right mid. But we're going to keep testing. On the fullbacks, so both join the attack and step up? No. Okay, so this is what I was mentioning for the 5-3-2. I have my more defensive player on just, he's not stepping up or anything, and that's because we have the cam. We don't need that extra support. But Verde or Politano, whoever your right wing back is going to be, is going to push up. Barella is the stay on edge of box or cross and cover center player. I don't think I put one stay on the edge of box or cross. The other ones, no, he's just fully cover center, I believe, but that doesn't matter. He's stay on the box cover center. Awards get forward, get into the box across. The cam is stay forward, get into the box across, free roam. Right striker stay forward, stay center, getting behind. The left striker is fully balanced. So you've technically got to see 5-3-2 and 5-2-1-2. So I'll say there were a couple of changes to this 5-2-1-2 system based on the video last week. That's why I've encoded it here and not just shamelessly plugged you to go watch that video. But we're not going to have any big feature on the 5-2-1-2 for a little bit, I don't think. We are going to test some other formations this week. Let me know in the comments down below. Tweet me, join the Discord, let me know if there's any formations you want to see tested. I will try and test basically every formation. I think at this point I've ran at least a few games on every formation in the game. Maybe except for the 5-2-2-1, which may be on the test. I'm not sure. But yeah, just let me know. I try to test things out. For context, I haven't played any rivals yet since the season changed. But I normally kick in between the 1800 and 1900 skill rating. I finish every week, always I get 11 wins in Foot Champs finals. I normally can scrape 14. This week we didn't. We'll just skim over that. The testing of formations didn't go as well. We've got Brahim Diaz to try this week though, which I really look forward to. This card looks fantastic. Zaniolo is going to go back in the team. And we're going to buy Damsgaard. So trying to figure out what I play this week. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. And say at the start of the video, if you do enjoy it, please do leave a like rate. It helps me out a tremendous amount just to know you guys like the content. And it apparently helps in the algorithm. So there's that as well. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. It's free. We should know this by now, but yeah, it's free. We'll go down that general spiel. It really just helps the channel. It helps me build the channel. And I'm just rambling at this point. Hit the subscribe button, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you find the tactics useful. Goodbye.